Ready to find out more about the small businesses and artists in your town? Small Biz is where it is. Let's support our community by shopping small, keeping it local, and keeping things all fine and dandy.
Well, hello and welcome to our Small Business Community Podcast. Hope you're having a good day.
Yeah, or good week, or good evening, or good morning, whenever you're listening to the show.
That's pretty good.
So the other morning I woke up and I was singing this coffee song and my dog was not having it and she laid on my face to try to shut me up.
I heard you in there. That was hilarious.
Anyway, so we're just going to check in with you guys this week, let you know what we've been up to, and welcome Dan back from traveling because he traveled to Canada this past week.
I did. So this week we're not going to be talking about any small businesses or anything that's a small artist or anything. Just us, yeah, because as Angie said, just getting back into town. For those of you that don't know, my day job, I am an IT director for an engineering firm, a pretty large engineering firm in the U.S. and Canada, and we just had a IT summit with all the management of IT in Canada. Very productive couple days, but definitely not for much discussion here. But it was productive and fun. I had a layover in Chicago on the way out and the way back, and about a 2.5 hour layover on the way back. So, 10 hours to get somewhere not so far from here. It felt like it was halfway across the country, but I'm glad to be home.
And you know what? Once you got home, what was so nice is that couldn't you feel like the change in weather when you got off the airplane?
I could, and ironically, the weather here in Asheville, North Carolina right now is almost identical to the weather in Brampton, Ontario. So
yeah, but it was beautiful. Like there was a little shift in the weather when you left, and it started dropping a little bit and getting a little colder.
Yeah.
And I'm just so excited because fall is in the air.
I know, I love it. And we're starting to see it's not full blown happening yet, but we sound like such tourists here, but this is new for us.
Well, this is tourism to us this first year because it'll be our first fall season here. We haven't been through a full year of seasons yet. We moved in the winter. And we've, been through spring and summer now, which have both been lovely. But we are most looking forward to the fall.
Yeah, I agree. I think the just the beauty of all the leaves, everything, and everything like that. So very much. Yeah,
I'm excited to go to the apple orchards again, do the little corn mazes and stuff. But what I'm really excited for, of course, seeing the leaves change. But we normally do a big Halloween party in Florida every year.
We do. We used to go to the Hard Rock Hotel. They do a Velvet Sessions Halloween party in the lobby of the hotel. Yep. And it's one of these things where Angie and I, when we first started dating, this became like a date we did, and we bought clothes at like the Goodwill or like the thrift stores, and between Angie's creative
transformation,
cutting and sewing, and my spray painting and doing the makeup and all, we go all out for our Halloween costumes. So we are very excited that we found somewhere new, but you found somewhere new.
Yes. So I was doing a little research and I'm like, I really want to do Halloween this year because we were going to go to Florida in October, and that changed because we have some guests staying at the Airbnb until November 1st. Yep. So we were going to do the Wekiva Island party down there, but since the guests are staying, we needed to find something new. Sometimes our friends in Knoxville do a party. They're not doing theirs this year, so
no Halloween parties.
I know. I'm like, no. So I found
Wekiva Island is doing theirs, by the way. We're not
going to be there in Florida. No. But I found at the Omni Grove Park Inn in Asheville, they do something called the Pink Lady Party, and I'm like, what is this Pink Lady? You got to come dressed in pink. What is this? No, it's just like, the Pink Lady is like someone who passed away in the hotel.
Oh, we can say she died.
Dress. She died. And she's like the resident paranormal activity there, let's say.
Yeah,
so
she fell off one of the interior balconies or jumped or whatever it was. And the lore is that, the locals have seen her there, the people that work there, guests have seen her there, but that's a really cool concept for a party there. And if you guys go, if you're local and you're going to go, reach out and let us know, because we'd love to meet up and say hi while we're there. We don't know anyone that's going to be there. We're new to the area.
Don't know how the party is. We're just going to check it out, but we are going to start working on our costumes soon, and we're excited, and we'll do a reveal of the costume as we get a little closer.
Oh, that's a great idea. And we're going to have a blast. We can't wait. Maybe we won't reveal it until the night of. That's normally the way we do it.
That's normally how we do it. But we'll just do like a Facebook Live or something maybe, or post something on. But anyway, so make sure to tune in for that. But this past weekend, we had some fun going to some local falls that our neighbor Kimberly told us about, actually.
Oh, that's right. Linville Falls. Linville Falls. I forgot she told us about that, but it turned out to be really nice. It was a long drive, but it's a very nice drive through like these, beautiful valley scenes where there's rolling green hills and mountains in the background. And, I really enjoyed the drive, which is not common for me.
And it was like an hour, 20-minute drive, but you know what? Yeah, we didn't have anything to do that day. And we said, you know what? Let's do it. And it was worth it. We went on the first path, right, which was the overlook.
Oh, that's it. That is what it was called, the overlook. But I just wanted to kind of set the stage that when when you first get there, they have like a little guest building. I think it's just bathrooms and a map.
I always forget about stuff like that.
Well, that's okay. I think we have footage of that.
Oh, yeah.
But
it's nice to know that, though, that there's going to be restrooms on premises, there's enough parking.
Yeah.
So those are good things to know when you're headed to someplace like this.
And Kimberly did tell us to start the path from the paved parking lot, because that's the one that kind of heads in the direction we wanted to go. And they have a big map up on the wall. We took a picture of it before we got started, so it kind of helps you with your guide. But Angie, why don't you tell them about the intensity of said path, because it starts off very mild.
Yeah, so there's two different paths. Well, there's a few trails up there, but there's two different paths that take you to the falls, the viewing areas, right? So the first path that we took was to the overlook. So it's a short little path, right?
Yeah.
Nice little walking, no obstacles, as you may say. And then you get to the top, and there's a little area where you can take pictures at the top of the waterfall. You get the nice front view of the waterfall, right? From the top down.
And from the top down. Yeah, almost like from the, so I thought it was going to be where you kind of walk out right at the falls, almost like the ones.
Because it says overlook, so that's kind of what you think.
Like the ones we kayaked to in Tennessee, there's a path that comes out right at the top of the water, but this was more like you're kind of off to the side, so you can still look down and see it.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful
spot
view
for getting, great photos. I think you got really good photos of the dogs up on the ledge there,
Yeah, that was fun.
So then, we're like, well, that wasn't a very long hike. So I really want to see the base of the falls, right? Because this is what Kimberly was telling us. Go to the base of the falls, because that is the view right there. That is the spot to be. So then, we went back up the trail and found the arrow that pointed us into the right direction. Nice little walk that we were getting there, It started off very easy.
I mean, it was, I don't know if you're like just setting the stage here, but it definitely went from a very easy, normal hike that we would normally do to, we came around a corner and you could see there was a weird drop off, and there was a couple that had these rather large dogs that they were having to lift down this drop off. And I'm like, hold on. So I thought maybe it was just a one-off. You get up there and there's a step, but
there's something in the way.
That was setting the stage for the entire second half of the trail, which is giant rocks, big drop offs where you have to climb down and then lift the dog down, fallen giant trees. It's very hard to describe. And I think even in the footage that we got, it's very hard to see. We would come around a corner and I'd say, oh my gosh, this is still doing this. It was like, it was the most intense. There were some
very steep stairs to get down.
Oh, very steep.
It was quite challenging, I will say. But I will say that my new hiking shoes that you got for me held up very well.
Oh, very nice.
It's the next day after our hike, and I'm not in like an excruciating amount of pain with my plantar fasciitis. So I was very happy with that. But I will tell you, if you choose to do this hike, it's not for anybody that has, restrictions or disabilities. I mean, our two little corgis did it, so dogs can definitely do it. But once you get to the very bottom, of where the falls are, the payoff is 100% worth it.
It really is. And, as we were doing this, I remembered that back in 2017 with the kids,
oh my gosh.
that was the same place we went to.
We were debating this. We were debating if it was or was not, but yep, Dan's showing me a picture right now.
It was the other side of the falls. So when we got down to the falls, we looked up.
And there was people standing up there, like looking down at us.
On the other side.
You could see them from way up high. But yeah, that is.
And it was sure enough the same
that we
spot.
have been there.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
So now we've experienced the other side of it.
Yeah, because I remember that because we had went to Grandfather Mountain with the kids on the bridge, and Linville Falls is right near there. So we must have just done that. Saw it on the side of the road or something and said, let's go see that too.
Yeah. And if you go, that makes sense. Because if you go to Linville Falls from the Grandfather Mountain side, you end up on the other side of the river. There's no bridge to go across and see the other side. So it's kind of like, if you start at the park at Linwood Falls, you're always going to stay on one side of the river, whether you go to the higher spot or the lower spot. But wow, once we got down to the bottom. Yeah. And it was one of those things where I would have given up because that's the most intense hike I've ever been on in my life.
It was intense.
Even without dogs. Yeah. So it was much more intense with little puppies. You have to keep lifting them over.
Lots of roots everywhere and rocks.
And we tried to keep them on the leash most of the time, but it became impossible because they're nearly, going to pull you down on the rocks. Yeah. So, and you have to picture this hike is like staircases made of rocks the whole time, just up and down and up and down over and over and over.
And it's only like a half a mile hike, but it seems a lot more because of the bending and climbing and, stretching and God knows what else you're doing. Almost falling I did.
Yes, yeah.
Just busted my ice.
Yeah, I think I have that exact moment on video.
I think you might.
Anyway, when you get down to the bottom and you get, it opens up and you get out to the river and you can see like all the spots where you can walk around, the dogs can play. It is so worth it. It is a beautiful, such a picturesque scene. It's hard to explain, but it was just amazing.
And we did get there a little later in the day, like a later start. I feel like when we do that one again, because we definitely will, it would be nice to bring like some towels or something that there's these huge rocks in the middle of the river. And if you have the right, waterproof shoes on or whatever, you can walk over to one of these rocks and sit on the rocks and just take in the waterfall, right? Just spend some time there, bring a lunch, and just stay maybe a couple hours.
Yeah, make a day of it. Because then it would feel like
it was worth it. And you get a little break before you go back up.
It was definitely worth it. But, we basically went down there and let the dogs play for 20 minutes and then went back. But because it's getting darker, we could smell rain. You could smell rains coming in. I was like, I do not want to climb back up that thing with muddy water squirting down it the whole time because I think we just had to make camp.
Oh, yeah. We would have busted our butt many times if that would have been the case.
Never been able to do it in the dark either. I mean, not without like a headlight.
But I will say something really cool that I noticed about the trail as we're going down. I mean, you almost feel like you're going through a tunnel with trees around it, right?
It does feel like that.
It's very tunnel-like. But there's also like these almost magnolia, or they almost look like mangrove trees growing, but I think they might be magnolia, some type of magnolia. And they're all over the place. So they make it just very dense. Yeah, right?
So you can't see out.
Yeah, so it feels darker than it is actually out because you are in that very canopied kind of trail.
Yeah.
But it's kind of nice on hotter days because it probably keeps it nice and cool.
Nice and cool, yeah. But down at the waterfall, you can walk out to the center of the river on the rocks, and I don't think you're supposed to, but there were people swimming right up at the waterfall where it goes into the water. It looks like an amazing place to take a swim.
Yeah, it does.
Big, huge rocks you can get up on top of and just chill. It is just beautifully picturesque, and it's really a unique and very neat spot to be able to visit. And it really wasn't very crowded for us when we were there either.
No, I think there might have been 6 groups of people there, and I feel like that's not a lot.
And some of those are like just a couple.
A couple, and we saw some other pups down there and stuff, and of course we let our dog swim. I don't
Of
know
course.
if you're supposed to, but
I don't think
Yeah.
there's a problem with it. But yeah,
Yeah.
they after all that work,
they needed a payoff. They were having a ball.
letting them play and run in the water. And, you
Yeah.
know, we're always harping on about our corgis, but
Yeah.
they both love water. But our little one, Oliver, who's afraid of a water hose, he
He'll
is
stick his face right down in, like dunk his whole face in the water.
he is excited out of his mind in the water. So he is
Yeah.
running and jumping, and you can just see him. If you could hear his voice, it's like he's going, "Isn't this great? Is this great or
Look
what?
at me,
This is-
guys.
This is
Look
great.
at me running in the water.
This is great.
Fabulous.
Tell me this isn't great. Is this great or what?
Isn't our life good?
This
Isn't
is
it good?
great. And, you know, MacKinzie's having fun, but nowhere near as much fun as he's having. He is just having the time of his life. But
MacKenzie's kind of like, do you have to keep acting like that? Can you just calm down a little bit and just wade through the water nice and neatly like I am? Why do you have to run all spazzy all over the place? I don't understand.
But these dogs, I mean, what a life they have because, you know, they get to go into a different river or waterfall or whatever every week. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's fun for them, fun for us. And it was if you're in the area or if you're coming to the area, we cannot recommend Linville Falls
Yeah.
enough. There's another area right next to it. Grandfather Mountain has a mile-high bridge. We're going to go back and try that.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, and there is a bunch of other trails and stuff over in that area to explore. I mean, you know, we're just starting to hit the tip of the, how do you say that? Tip of the iceberg with finding the trails around here. We are trying to work out a good system and finding the good ones, you know.
And I think we've gotten better at
Yeah,
that.
I think we're getting a little better. But yeah, we even drove through some other little towns around there, just noticing, you know, the name of some of the other little towns like Banner Elk and stuff like that. Just passing through as we were driving to Linville Falls.
Linville Falls.
Yeah.
We were talking
But
about
we
that
had
on
a
the
great
way
time. Yeah.
There's Linville, there's Hendersonville, there's
all the
Asheville,
Villes
there's
in-
Farmville.
Yeah, in North Carolina, all the Villes, definitely. So very excited to go back there again. I think next time we go, our neighbor Kimberly's going to come with us. She said, I'd love to join you guys the next time you go. And I said, absolutely, we'd love to have you. So, yeah. And anyway, guys, we have some great guests coming up over the next few weeks. We've had some people reach out in the community, and we just finished up an interview this morning, actually, with a guest coming up next week. So we're so excited to bring you some of the locals, small businesses, artists, creatives, and other interesting people in the Asheville area.
Yes, indeed. And thank you so much for setting these up. Angie's been meeting with some of the upcoming guests and getting the time frames set up. And you know what's really cool? We're starting to have people reach out to us now.
Yeah.
Just like what happened in Florida, where they're actually reaching out, signing up, and picking their dates and getting it scheduled.
I love it.
So,
Yeah,
I do too.
excited. I'm excited. But anyway, guys, it's short and sweet this week. We just wanted to let you know about that little spot that we found here that we experienced this past weekend. But we will see you next week. We hope to anyway. Thank you so much for tuning in each and every week. And remember, at the end of each and every day, it's all fine and dandy. Hi guys, we hope you enjoyed the show today. If you did, we would love a review. So make sure to head over to your Apple Podcast app or whatever app you listen to your podcast on and give us a 5-star review. Also, give us a like and a follow on our social media. You can find that all under Fine and Danjee. And if you want to find out more about our guest or about us, head over to fineanddanjee.com.